All right, everybody. I am back, and I think I'm live. Had a little bit of a stream scare there, but we are back with Jormy. FF Living Sid has you giddy. Nice. It's super cool. Alright, I took enough damage that my hate is, my hate should be low enough now that I'm not worried about anything. Whew. The Oglop, yeah. All right, drop and swap. Quetch. Freaking macros, dude. I gotta make... I gotta make an erase macro. Oh, I was in DT's party. I hear ice spikes. Oh no. There we go, got slow on. No effect, okay. What's it drop? It drops the Worm Tongue. It's like this Polearm for Dragoon outside of Relic. Intro to OBS. My guy. I was in my wrong idol set. make an erase macro. It's ridiculous I don't have one. Oh, I do have one. Oh, jeez. I don't really do these kind of fights on Red Mage very often. Okay, sounds good. Somebody in this party's blinking a lot. It's killing my targeting. Oh, yeah. Alright. Alright, my macro situation is fixed. Yeah, Stylus does, but I should probably have it for fights like this, but I don't like it in general. Like, I like letting, you know, I like seeing what people like when they change their equipment and stuff. Paralaga. I did have to end the stream for potential docs reasons. Kind of obnoxious, but it happens. Oh, haste. I gotta put it's friggin' Bingus. Gotta put them at the bottom of the party because they're screwing up my targeting. Whew. Dude, playing red mage in this fight is insane. As the tank red mage, this is like so much work. It's fun though. Yo, thanks, Big Rock. Yeah, we would like to see our first pole arm. Honestly, that would be super sweet. Whew. Oh. I got wombo comboed. Was I casting something? Or was I... Yeah, was I in my mid-cast set or something? %. You can filter by specific series. The Forest from FF11. I should have been in my MDT set, chat. I didn't even think to do that. What? How do you sort by? I'm on the website, Benson. Where am I going to here? Oh my gosh, the golden chocobo. The dream. These are going to be thousands of dollars. No, you could... So this is the way it was described to me, Rick Rock. If you put TH on a mob, you can log out. You can shut down Horizon. You can delete your character. And that mob will still have TH on it. How do I sort by 11? Gear swap. Yeah, because the treasure hunter is like a debuff on the mob. Benny does not. No. It's not. It's not even. So I put debuff in quotes because it's just a flag. It's a flag in the mob's the mob's code. I don't think it even necessarily has to recover to full. It just has to go unclaimed, and then has to look for a player, look for all the players on its hate list, and find none of them. It has to go idle. Once it goes idle, TH should be cleared. It's at the same time that all of the enmity on its table is gone. Did I ever play Braver? We actually did one stream of Braver. I've wanted to go back. If I ever get to a full-time stream schedule, I would work in some Braver. It was a really interesting game. If you're just tuning in, I was fighting Jormungand, but then I died, so I'm out of the I'm out of the alliance. Did you play the whole thing, Rog? Oh, 2.0 in a week or two. That would be a great time to hop back in then. Because when I was playing, they were actually mid-process for a big patch that was supposed to clean up a lot of things. So I was like, all right, let me push it off, and I'll wait for that big patch, and then I'll take another stab at it. But then it just got pushed aside for other stuff. It's a fan game, Benson. It's like what you get it? Is it on like itch.io? A roguelike tower mode. Nice. Have I been catching the FFMTG spoilers? So, I actually just had to close my stream. But we watched the entire reveal. Anything catch my attention besides the giant chocobo? So once Jorm is dead, I'm gonna go over everything because we watched the stream and then went right into Jorm. So I'm gonna debrief on some of the things that I thought, some of the things that I find interesting, some of the things that might not be obvious. How do I just like pull up a list of cards? See more cards. Okay, here we go. Oh. Oh, there's more. It looks like there might be more cards than what... Yeah, I'm on the WotC website. I was asking like where on the WotC website, but I found it. It was like see more cards or something like that. Ice magic. I wonder if I can... Oh, this is going to look so awful for you guys. What if I click a card? What does that do? Nothing. This is optimized for mobile. Yeah. Can I just unoptimize it? Can I make this optimized for viewing on a web page? Through a browser? Alright, it's about to die. 2%. 1%. They'll post loot and I'll show it to you guys, but I won't be in party, obviously. Wait, they're saying we got the weapon. This is our first worm tongue chat. Here it is. Worm tongue on Jormungand. Nice. This is our first one. That's wild. Here, I'll show you guys what it does. Let's go to wiki. right here. It's 75 Dragoon, accuracy 5, damage 96, delay 510. Any secret stat? No. Other than like what's not obvious is its stats are very well tuned. The Mercurial pull, yeah. I too hope to get one of the 77 gold chocobos. What was the delay? It's 510. I think which pushes it into like an X hit build in era. That went for a pretty low DKP too. There wasn't a lot of people with Dragoon leveled that had the DKP to bid. I will relist the VOD of the FF MTG crossover stream when I have a chance to edit the end of it. Until then, if you guys missed the earlier part of the stream and you want to know, we're going to go over a little bit of it here right as soon as I get back to town. But there are some very cool cards. Absolute Virtue is a bonkers card. One of a kind effect. But it's very similar to Platinum Angel. We'll just go over it when we pull up the list here. So, closer to Platinum Empyrean. Yeah, I can see that. The Bastok flag on Sid's apron? Yo, let's go. We'll take a closer look. All right. So this is going to be awful. Like, showing you guys the cards on this page. Okay, let me... All right, hold on a second. I don't know what resolution or whatever you guys watch the stream at, so I'm just going to ask, are those cards readable? For anybody who wants to read the cards and follow along, are these cards readable? If they are at this zoom, then I'll be happy with it. Yes? For you, yeah? 1080p on YouTube, yeah. All right, sounds good. I think this will be good enough. We're gonna start. Don't let me go over the ads. We're gonna get an ad break in 4 minutes. So yeah. So some of these are marked by new. What if I zoom out one more time? No, I like this level. Was Dragoon's Lance an older one? Did we see that in a previous reveal? Because I don't recognize that from the stream. On the t-shirt, yeah. This card is so cool. 2 mana, makes a 1/1 hero when it enters the battlefield. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and is a knight in addition to its other types. During your turn, equipped creature has flying. and it's the Guy Bolg. This is an FF14 card. It makes a Dragoon creature for 2 mana. And jump is having flying when you're on your turn. Very good flavor. I love this. This one I think was quickly flashed on the screen at the end. Create 4 heroes, then put a +1/+1 counter on all your creatures. Very cool. Let's see. The Cloud is basically a that white creature. It tutors up an equipment, but doesn't put it into play. These types of effects are really good to have in Stoneforge Mystic. Thank you. These kinds of tutors are very good to have at this mana cost in all sorts of formats. So the new Cloud will see some play. And Aerith is just a very good life gain. This style of effect, whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, is something you want to see. Like every one of these that gets printed will get utilized somewhere, and that is the running theme of this set. So something I noticed pretty much right away is, and I said this at the end of the last stream, but I'll repeat it here, is this set, while some of the cards are individually powerful, and like the Cloud is an example, like this is a strong stat line for what it does. It's very good. Its extra effect is very good. It's like, but in general, these cards are all fun to play. They're designed with mechanics that, like, if you were just coming into Magic and you're like, you want to make an equipment deck and you play this Cloud, this is going to be a fun card for you to play. Is it stronger than Stoneforge Mystic? Not in some formats. So, you know, I think they've struck a really interesting balance. The set is strong and fun, but not necessarily power creeping everything in the sort of spheres of cards. These are all good additions. And if you want to play these things as a commander, you can as well. And so I do want to talk a little bit to like the people who are maybe new to Magic. Is here, forget the music. If you've been, let me get this out of here too. If you watch this reveal and maybe you haven't played Magic, or maybe you played in the past, you want to get back in, you're like, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to tell you about a little format called Commander. It's a 100 card deck. Every card has to be different. You can only have one of each card except for basic lands. And you have like a commander. It's the person that sits outside of the game, in this example, Cloud. And your deck can only contain white cards or white mana symbols, because Cloud is a white creature, similar for Aerith. And you can summon your commander as though it were in your hand. There's some extra rules baggage to it as well, but in general, and you play in like a 4-person thing. It's a very fun way to play, and they've released 4 commander decks, so you can just buy one of those decks. You're like, I like Y'shtola, I like, Cloud or whatever. And you can just buy one of those decks, you can sit down at a table and you can play. So if you have a local game store near you, you're very interested in these cards, and you just want to play you want to get introduced to the game, there will be a lot of people in your position. Find a game store, look up their event dates, and you can literally just buy a deck and play is the easiest way to just jump in and do it and start to get your feet wet. So a lot of what I say will probably come from the perspective of Commander, because it's the most accessible format, and because these creatures are legendary, which is important, and a lot of Final Fantasy's characters are unique characters, they're going to be legendary, is from the perspective of you might make this into a Commander deck. I'm not really interested in what's happening in Standard. I'm not really interested in what's happening in Modern or Pioneer or any of these things. But you should also know that Standard will be a format you can play on Magic Arena. So that's number 2. Number 1 is Commander. Number 2 is if you play on Arena, you can be playing with all of these cards to varying degrees of usefulness. You might have a card in here that's your absolute favorite, but you put it in a deck in Standard and it's pointless. Or you try to play it in Arena and you just lose all your games, because Arena is usually a very cutthroat type of play. It's just like only the strongest survive. So Commander's great. You can play all the cards you find interesting. Arena's great. You don't need to sit at a table with other people. You can just boot up the program and you can play with some cards, but you might not get to play all the things you like. And then lastly, of course, collecting. You should be aware that some of these cards, the most like the full art versions, like in certain treatments, prices for some of these things is going to vary wildly, and it's going to be you never know where things will settle with a set like this. So if you're just wanting to collect cards, don't bother buying packs, boxes, all that stuff. Buy those things if you want to open them for the enjoyment of opening them. If you're a gambler, if you're the gambling type, you may decide to buy boxes as well. I will leave that up to you as a person. Everybody's got to make that decision for themselves. But be aware that just simply going to a website and buying all the SIDs, for example, will be something that you can just do and is likely, for some people, the best way to go about acquiring the things you're interested in. I too, repost. I love like pre-release. Pre-release on a set like this, so fun. Or early drafts, absolutely. And then once it gets figured out, then it's just about doing the most efficient thing. I love that that period, that golden period of time where a format hasn't been figured out. Where to buy packs? You can go to Target. That is where I would recommend, honestly. Target is usually the most consistent with stuff like this. Or you can just buy online retailers. Or LGS. Number one, LGS. If you have a local game store that sells Warhammer or whatever it is you're into, always check there first. Number two is Target, and then number three is like Card Kingdom, and then number four is like Amazon, is what I would recommend to somebody. So in terms of new cards, a lot of this stuff had been revealed before, but we have like the White Mage's staff. It basically is a staff that puts a White Mage character into play, and the White Mages have additional life gain synergy similar to Aerith the White Mage, right? So some very cool reveals today. Somebody mentioned earlier that FF1 got the short end of the stick. I don't know if I agree, and I'll say it like this: we got an interesting Chaos card, and we got the job cards like it happened in FF1. I don't know what else you can really do. I'm sure there'll be like summons that first were introduced in FF1, but like the game itself is just it's the basic mechanics of a Final Fantasy game, and yeah, if anybody has anything they'd like to say, about FF1 in particular that could have been done better, just let me know. Toss it in chat. So some other stuff we'll talk about for people who aren't super familiar with Magic. You'll notice here, this Aerith is in a different frame. Now, I don't know what card slot this is going to be in, but these may or may not be in play boosters. So something else you should be aware of. There is a type of pack called the Collector's Booster, which are like $50 a piece. It's $50 for like 15 cards or whatever it is. But that is where you can get the golden chocobo that there's only 77 in existence. Okay, that's where that kind of thing is going to come from. And what happens is a lot of people open those. And so what you actually find is this Aerith with the green background. Can you guys see my mouse? You can. This Aerith with the green background might simply cost you less money than this Aerith with the full art background or whatever. Simply because so many of these get opened, and unless this card is like a standard staple, it's you could probably find these nice art treatments at a cheaper price as singles than you would find some of the other. Because in a weird way, sometimes there's just less of there's more of these than there are of these. Although I would say probably this right here, not the extended border. So if you're really looking, if as a collector, you want Aerith and Cloud, you're just like, these are my two favorite things. I want to put them in little plastic cases and I want to put them on my shelf. You'll be able to find these for pretty cheap. Not always repost. So and in a set like this, that so many collector's packs are going to be opened, what happens is there's more of these in existence. Maybe more of these are printed, but there's more of these in existence because of all that opening. And especially a few weeks into the set is you might just be able to get some of this stuff for dirt cheap. Some of these full because of all the chasing that happens for the golden chocobos and whatnot. So that said, yeah, the secret rendezvous is somebody explain this to me because I'm aware of this as a meme, but I don't know the exact situation. You basically get to choose in FF7 like who you want to go on the Ferris wheel with, right? And you could go with any of the, and so here's Cloud and Barrett crossing their arms. Here's Cloud and Tifa, and Cloud is just crossing his arms in all the pictures. But this card, if you get it in a pack, you will get one of these 4 arts. Is the idea, and the same things with it's invisible points. Gotcha. And the same thing goes for these SIDs we're going to see later on. So some of the cards. So here's an example of something. Firion Swordmaster, but underneath it, it says SRAM Senior Artificer. That's because the card SRAM Senior Artificer already exists, and this is a skin. So some of these cards, and especially like the Amano arts and stuff, are going to be pretty split between brand new cards that only came out for the first time in this set and reskins of older cards that you'll be able to play alongside of their new counterpart. So you've got a Firion card. It's not in mono white. It's some other color. You've got a Firion card that has something to do with equipment, and you've got a reskin of a card called SRAM Senior Artificer that also deals with equipment. So you could play this in a Firion Commander deck, for example. And so they're designed to play together, these reskins with these kind of characters. And if you missed it during the preview, there are... oh, this is an FF12 card. Never mind. I was going to say something totally different. But this is another reskin of Wall of Omens, but it's the Imperial City of Arcades, and this is from FF12, and it's just that beautiful first promo image of 12 that ever released. Now we get to one of the first Final Fantasy XI cards. Let me see if there is any identifier on the card that says like FF11. Yes, FFXI on the bottom of this Drake. So this is the Wyvern. This is the Dragoon's Wyvern from 11, and on the bottom, the flavor text is, I heard that to become a Dragoon, you had to make a pact with a living Wyvern. However, thanks to the Dragon Slayers, there aren't that many dragons left. Oh, it's a reference to the unlock, to the Dragoon Advanced Job unlock. Very cool. It's a 3-mana, 2/1 flying Wyvern that creates a 1/1 colorless hero when it comes into play. So it's you unlock the job and you get your Wyvern and you're the 1/1 player because you're level 30 or whatever. Very cool flavor. We only got 3 Final Fantasy XI cards. This is one of them. But man, is that not on point? And yes, Ice Magic was not in the show. We got Fire Magic with Vivi, and here's Ice Magic. 2-mana instant, tiered. You can choose 1 additional cost, and then it's going to do that effect instead of... that's going to do that effect. So you can cast Ice Magic as either Blizzard by paying 0 extra mana, so it's just 2-mana bounce spell. If you play 3 colorless and a blue, target creature owner puts it on their choice on top or bottom. So this can put a creature not to their hand, but to the top or bottom of their deck. Or Blizzaga, 5/1 blue, so that's 6 colorless, 2 blue. Target creature's owner shuffles it into their library. That seems... That's... Oh, I guess the first one is a choice for the opponent. This is a draft common, and the third one is a straight up removal spell. So that's cool. So this is one of the new effects. Is you like Ice Magic, Blizzard, Blizzara, Blizzaga, excellent capture of the field. Yeah, tiered bounce. It's actually very interesting. Very very cool design. I'm gonna skip over the stuff that was revealed previously, and of course we have a Magic the Gathering channel in the Discord if you want to talk about any of these cards, or if you want help making a deck maybe, or just want to ask questions about Magic in general. That's the place to do it. But essentially they spoiled a bunch of new cards. Arden from FF15. Here's the Black Mage's Rod, similar to the White Mage's Rod. This looks like it's going to be an effect in the set that these wizards, the wizard card, I wonder if the tokens are at the bottom. The wizard card is actually a very specific card. Oh, okay, this is awesome. All right, so there's all sorts of alt treatments and whatnot. Oh boy, okay. I don't know where the token is, but there's a lot of cool stuff that we're gonna see as we go down. All right, let's just go back up to blue, or to black rather, and see if there's anything topic-wise that we want to touch on, but I don't think so. These are sorted in a very interesting way. All right, so here we are back to black. Not much to say here except, maybe take a look. Maybe there's some cards here that you're interested in. A lot of Magic players that are in this sort of spot where we've seen a bunch of cards revealed, and you might look at a card and you might think, wow, that card is actually going to be sick in XYZ format. I'm going to pick them up while they're $2 each. And then 3 months later, it's a staple in Modern or something. And then they're worth like $10 each. So for those of us who are Magic players, are probably thinking a little bit about things we might want to pick up early because there's so many people opening packs and nobody knows what's going to be played in the major formats yet. Or your commander deck, you're like me, you're like, I love birds. I'm just going to buy all the birds flat out. And then, 3 months go by and all of a sudden one of those birds is a staple for one of the big formats. And now it's worth a couple more bucks than what you paid. But also vice versa is like things might be high at release because it's cloud. Every website is going to sell cloud for $10 or whatever it is. And then in a few months, nobody's buying cloud at $10 anymore. Now it's $3. So, just to help, if you're thinking about just collecting some of these, there are sort of elements at play, of availability and desirability that you're going to be basically, I don't want to say gambling on, but you're going to be basically wanting to determine for yourself, like when and where to put that money. If you're just tuning in, I have the Fighting Jormungand title for my Twitch stream. We already killed it, but now we're talking Magic the Gathering. Odin, we talked about, very interesting effect. The Zantetsukin, this creature gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. So the second turn, the second turn for you after you play Odin, if you hit an opponent with it, it's one shot, but it's a 6 mana spell. You've got to wait to 2 turns. It doesn't have natural evasion such as flying or fear, whatever that's called nowadays. I forget. So it's going to be hard to get through, but it's a very interesting one-shot mechanic, and Zantetsukin should be. So I think the flavor of this set is incredibly on point. Read through some of these cards yourself. The website is just, if you just search like Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering, it'll bring you to this website. A lot of cool cards here. I'm excited to see these at the table. I'm excited to pick up a number of them for myself. So we're just going to jump through, I think, and just look at some of the treatments. It's uncertain to me where these treatments are going to be found, and we'll look at Card Kingdom. Actually, let me just search that right now. We're going to go to Card Kingdom, and we're going to see if they list where the treatments are to be found. I'm not even sure if we've gotten a full list of that yet. Final Fantasy. Yeah, it doesn't look like we have a full list of treatments, but as I was saying earlier, like some of these cards are going to be found basically, some literally exclusively in collector's boosters, some very rarely in play boosters, which are the type of booster packs you would normally buy. $5, $6. You buy a booster pack, you open it, or you play a draft with 8 of them or whatever, or an 8. What am I saying? No, 8 people with 3 packs. And you'll see some of these special treatments, but mainly you'll just see normal cards. Bartz and Boko, I love this. If we get more bird support in here, it only is positive for me. Whether I make a Bartz and Boko deck, I don't know. As Dados has pointed out earlier, there's not a ton of green birds in Magic, yet this is a mono green legendary creature with affinity for birds. So this will probably have to slot into my deck, but it is also very strong. It's basically a removal spell for bird-based commanders, or for bird tribal commander decks. And of course, Saz's Chocobo was spoiled a few weeks ago. But yeah, so running through green, we get to, if you missed this on the stream, so these are the colored Chocobos in addition to the golden Chocobos. Now, we've only ever seen the Neon Ink cards were from Neon Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Neon Ink. So let me show you something that I'm pretty sure Hidetsugu. No, it's not Hidetsugu Consumes All. It's does anybody remember which Hidetsugu it is for the original Neon Ink cards? Devouring Chaos, maybe? There it is. Okay, check this out. So this, I'm rather sure the Chocobos are going to follow this exact pattern, so be aware. Look at the price tag, okay? This Neon Ink, I guess you would call this purple, whatever, 59 cents. That might not even be the Neon Ink. No, it is. Okay, the yellow one is actually a promo. Should we be looking at foils? No, the neon. Okay, the neon ink. Okay, I see. This is just a variant card. This card was found in normal packs, wherever a variant slot would be. Okay, so you don't consider this one. The yellow neon ink Hidetsugu Devouring Chaos is a promo card, still worth $20. But this is what you want to look at. The blue one, $32.99. The green one, $79.99. And the reddish pink one, $700. All right, this Final Fantasy is going to blow this out of the water. These are tiered rarities. So the blue one was like 1 in every 50 booster boxes. The green one was like 1 in every 75. And the red one was like 1 every 200. I'm just pulling those numbers out of thin air. But I'm betting you the chocobos are going to be the exact same thing. You're going to have odds of getting these. And likely will follow if there was any kind of rarity in the Final Fantasy sets with these, like exactly the golden chocobo requiring all that effort. There's only 77 of these in existence. However, the other chocobos aren't necessarily limited in number. They're going to be likely limited in rarity. They didn't say this, but that's how they handled the only other neon ink card in the past. So likely there will be some sort of price differential on these colored chocobos that will be determined by the rate at which they're pulled in packs, not necessarily by the blue one is better than the red one. Okay? So I would not recommend chasing these. These are going to come into existence by people who get lucky or buy way too many packs that an average person should buy. But understand that's where those chocobos are coming from. Collector's boosters likely at different pull rates. That should be the only thing in this set like that. So these are going to be different than some of the other stuff we're going to look at, which is like the treatments. Okay, here's the other 11 card, Absolute Virtue. So 8 mana, this spell can't be countered. Great. If you don't like blue, this is great for you. I mean, if you don't like playing against blue, that is. 8/8 flying. You have protection from each of your opponents. I had said during the stream, this is a really interesting effect, but then we moved on to the next thing so fast that it's hard to kind of like quantify just what's going on here. But if you read the subtext there, you'll see it. It says, you can't be dealt damage, enchanted, or targeted by anything controlled by your opponents. So this does not affect Absolute Virtue itself. This is you, the player. You can't be damaged by your opponent's creatures. You can't be targeted with their spells. But if an opponent has something that says like, all opponents lose 5 life, you would still lose 5 life because that's not damage, nor is it targeting you specifically. But this is a very interesting effect. There's a number of cards there's a handful of cards in Magic that have very similar like things like literally cards that say you can't lose the game. But they're removable, similar to AV. You can hit AV with a Doomblade, for example, for all of you Magic players out there who are familiar with that card. You can Doomblade this, and then it's gone. If you wanted to play like a commander, back to that idea of formats where things are going to be played. Commander, this could be your commander. It's a legendary creature. You could say, I am playing Absolute Virtue as my commander, and I could play blue and white cards. I think it would probably be a Voltron deck that would be miserable to play against, likely. You would put like Lightning Greaves on this. Now this can't be countered. You would put an indestructible counter on this somehow, or an indestructible card. And all of a sudden now they can't kill your Absolute Virtue and they can't kill you. I mean, it really screams the flavor of the Absolute Virtue from 11 at the time it was made. But it sounds miserable to play against, so I'll leave it up to you whether you want to make that deck or not. Very similar to how it was miserable to fight back in the day. The other big card I wanted to look at from the reveal was Balthier and Fran. This is actually really sick. I don't think we've had a great vehicle tribal deck before. Vehicles are artifacts that can be turned into creatures and attacked, and you can attack with them. So, but to do that, you have to crew them. So the way they work is you play it. It's an artifact. It can turn into a creature if you tap your creatures. So you crew the vehicle. You get in, you drive it or whatever, or you man the battle, the guns. So very flavorful. So, whenever a vehicle crewed by Balthier and Fran this turn attacks, if it's the first combat phase of the turn, you may pay 3 mana. You get an additional attack phase. So this is a red-green, talking commander, this is a red-green deck that has artifact vehicles in it, and you're wanting to use them. You're not attacking with these two. You are tapping them, you are crewing your vehicles, and then you are getting extra combat phases. So it's like the idea of the deck, and for those of you, again, who are new to Magic, you might start to have a picture now of what commander might look like. My deck, I'm playing these two, my deck plays airships and chariots and boats, and it attacks your opponents multiple times with those things. So my other cards might say like search your deck for an artifact, or might say like it might be creatures, so I can crew these things. And it's in the red-green color space, which I think so far we've had like a blue vehicles commander. There's been like a blue-white vehicles commander. There's been a number of things over the years. But this is in the red-green space, and it has additional combats. And it gives vehicles, it's also a tribal. It says vehicles you control get extra stats and have extra abilities. So very cool card. I think that, I think this will be a lot of fun to build. Anyway, on to the SIDs. So we did see SID from 11. I can pull that up here. You can run 15 different SIDs. A deck can have any number. A deck can have any number of cards named Sid, Timeless Artificer. Artifact creatures and heroes you control get +1/+1 for each artifact you control and each Artificer card in your graveyard. What a wild Magic the Gathering card. If you missed it, there's one from every Final Fantasy. Would you stop touching the edge of the screen? There's one from each Final Fantasy. And the one from 11 is shown in the, it's in the Discord. So if you want to see it specifically, that one, it's there. Very cool. Sometimes cards of Magic have this line of text. You can have any number in your deck. Normally you can only have 4. And in Commander, you can normally only have 1. But with this, you can have as many as you want. Okay. So we're just about through everything I wanted to talk about. There's still like lots of cards to go. In terms of what I'm thinking about making, I've already got Stiltskin in the works. I would love to pick up some of the Chocobo stuff. I think there's still more Chocobo stuff to come. So I'll be keeping an eye on that. I already have Stiltskin in the works. He like donates stuff to your opponents. But we are going to take a look at the lands because I think Benson mentioned that there is an FF11 land. Oh, and possibly VV. I think VV is really cool. 3 mana, 0/3. If you pay 0, you get X mana, where X is VV's power. So you want to boost that power. Right now it's 0. And if you find ways to do that, you'll get more mana every turn. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So this is typically what's referred to as a spell slinger strategy, which is where you cast small spells that do things like draw cards or bounce your opponent's creatures to their hand, like the Blizzard magic. And then you do that, but then you also deal 1 damage to each opponent. You also put +1/+1 counters on this creature. So you're doing a lot of these little small spells and getting added value over time, and particularly with VV, you're growing his power, which gives you more mana to cast more spells. This is pushed, it's busted, it's going to be wild to build around, and it's got some of the best art I've ever seen on a Magic card. Black Mage is a red-blue archetype. I could see them being red. So red, blue, black. I think I'm blanking on the whatever the name of that color combo is. Red, blue, black. That's like the spell slinger color. It's like the big spells color. Big flashy spells. Grixis. Thank you. Grixis is like historically, if you see a spell that's like sick and strong, it's usually in Grixis. And so VV sits in that Grixis space. You would totally put it in those colors of Commander. Y'shtola is a good example. Cool. Other than that, I think there was some alt treatment stuff. The Amano stuff, I don't know what the availability of this is going to be. It might be high, it might be low. The last time we got a piece of art from Amano, it was a multi-$100 card. And there were very few of them out there. And that was the Liliana stuff. So it's yet to be seen. Oh, okay, we can see the FF11 Sid. There he is. There's my boy. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to be able to zoom in on him. Again, it's in the Discord if you want to see a... Okay, that's not what I meant to do at all. If you want to see a close-up of this Sid, or you can find the website yourself and check it out. But No flavor text or anything special. It just says FFXI on the card. Yeah, the stagger effect with dude, that lightning is incredibly well designed. Here's a full art. Here's an extended art absolute virtue. So be aware that extended arts exist. There's regular printings, there's extended arts, and there's full arts, and then there's like alt frame treatments and stuff. There's a lot. You know, again, if you just look to and buy singles, you'll see all of your options, and you'll see the price differences between them when the set is out. So. A lot of these are just stuff that had already been revealed in the past. The Bahamut is super sick. Okay, here we go. I did want to get to this. Herald's. Wait, there's a Herald's horn with the freaking Moogles on it. I didn't see this. Yeah. So this is a tribal deck card that I have. This was like a $16 card. Really good. It reduces the cost of a creature type that you choose. Say you choose birds, all of your birds cost one less, and you get to look at the top of your deck, and if it's a bird, you get to put it in your hand. So really good for any tribal deck that you might play. The food is probably a 14 reference, I'd guess. Do they say? That doesn't say. Jador, Aristocrat's Capital. Target opponent mills half their library, rounded down. Holy crap. And then tap for a blue. This must have been in that last little blitz of cards as well. All right, basic planes. This is from FF12. You said forest. Here's 7. Here's 15. 10. Damn. That swamp is OP. There's 9. There's 3. Oh, here's 11. Oh, it's Nightswell, isn't it? Can I open image in new tab? I should have tried that earlier. Maybe not Nightswell. Where is this, chat? Where do we think this is? Ronfar probably, but it's probably just the river in Ronfar. They tell you at the bottom of the card. See, that is where we were talking about like the SIDS earlier. They tell you this is FF11. Yeah, it's just that digital art vibe that I've complained about personally in the past. But I will say it's nice to have our game represented on a card. It is a little mushed. I'll give you that. Warrior. That's the Warrior AF though, right? White Mage. They didn't even know what FF11 looked like, so like just paint it really mushy so nobody knows. Oh, that's probably Thief, yeah. Interesting. Okay. But yeah, they tell you, so like if you were looking at a particular land, you can just go to the website and you can see that it's what set it's from. Cool. So that's basically everything I wanted to go over. Again, the VOD for the reveal will be re-released at some point. I just need to edit the end of it. And if anybody has any questions or anything, pop them in the Discord. Likely, I will be reinstalling Arena. And if you guys... Let me pause the ads. If you guys want to see some like some magic on Arena, just hang out and check out the cards when the set releases, we'll probably do that. I think it'd be fun. And maybe build some themed decks. Maybe build a Sid deck in Arena or something, you know, and just maybe even play some Brawl. I'm really excited for this. I think it's going to be extremely fun to go to card shops and just like geek out with other Final Fantasy enjoyers about everything in the set, and maybe get a cool Chocobo card or something like that. So really cool. Yeah, so that's basically my review of things as revealed today. June 12th, June 13th, June 12th, something like that, is going to be the actual set. You know, you can catch a pre-release somewhere near there. And we're going to see a lot more cards. Spoiler season kicked off today. So starting Monday, I believe, is when we'll start seeing more spoilers. Like more overall set spoilers. There's still, I'm sure there's going to be more creatures, more stuff from 11. You know, of course there's going to be a Prish, but who knows what else. I'd hope for like a deep cut or two myself. But, you know, I don't know. It's Wizards, it's Square Enix. They're both not exactly known for their communication or... May 20th to 25th. That's okay. Thanks for the heads up. Yeah. Yeah, if anybody, if you find like a place that has like pre-orders that isn't sold out or something like that, you know, at this point, like we are the fans that are in this together. You know what I mean? If you guys find a good deal or something, post it in the Discord. If people want to do trades or something like that, just to like build collections, like, you know, this is it. Otherwise, we're just all out here spending money randomly. You know, it's not like a lot of us have like close by LGSs. You know, although I will be confirming if that I'm going to Vegas likely this week. If anybody is going to that meetup, ffxi.vegas. If anybody's going to that meetup, I would love to draft or play Commander. Yeah, it's ffxi.vegas. While we're there, the set will have been out for a number of weeks. So for about 2 months, it'll have been out. Yeah, just about 2 months. And so if you guys are managing to go to that, we could definitely do some draft together or something. In Vegas. Again, I have not confirmed yet, so, but hopefully soon. Meet at the East Coast? Yeah, I don't know. Apparently people don't, apparently Vegas is a common place for people to meet up. I don't know. I've never been. I'll likely end up playing more Magic than slot machines or whatever. I don't know what people do. You would love a Commander game with 30 to 50%. Yeah, and you might find that. I think the fact that there's Commander decks, I think, is going to be your best place to actually find that. But, you know, it's still, in itself, it's like it's still a big game. But anyway, I'm going to close up stream from here, chat. Thanks for hanging out today. I got to fix that VOD and get that back up. And also need to go eat and take care of some IRL stuff. So, Expedition 33 stream tomorrow as I continue with my playthrough of that. It's super good. Very, like honestly, very good JRPG in a modern era. But yeah. Anyway, I'll see you all in the next one. Where am I here? Yeah. All right. Have a nice weekend, everybody. See you soon. Bye.